1865 to 1929 Development and Change War, Prosperity, and the Great Depression. After the end of the American Civil War in 1865, the United States took radical measures such as Reconstruction and amnesty laws to address the economic hardships and issues of pride in the South. As a result, the U.S. transformed from an agricultural-based country to an urbanized nation, with rapid development of large-scale industries such as railways, oil, steel, and textiles, as well as the electricity industry with inventions such as the telephone, light bulb, and phonograph. These changes led to the U.S. becoming an industrial superpower on the world stage. However, even after more than 30 years since the end of the Civil War, the southern region remained economically backward and relied on the north, which was still an agricultural-based area. The Southern society still implemented strict racial segregation policies and was indifferent to racial violence. Since 1890, as Indian protection zones were reduced, there were often cases of abuse of treaty rights among tribes, and the U.S. was in an era of imperialistic expansion, expanding its territory to Central and South America by expanding its influence. The U.S. purchased Alaska from Russia in 1867, and after the conclusion of the war with Spain in 1898, it occupied or exerted influence in the Caribbean, the Central Pacific coast, and nearby islands in Asia. In the case of Hawaii, American sugarcane businessmen, together with Hawaiian leaders, established a new Hawaiian government and annexed Hawaii to the U.S. This economic growth and prosperity brought about the domination of giant corporations, which attempted to dominate the entire industry of the U.S. by forming trusts. In response, the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890 was enacted to prohibit corporate collusion, and labor unions gained strong power in response to industrialization. At the end of the 19th century, American workers worked in poor conditions such as low wages, long hours, and dangerous work environments. Due to economic crises, unemployment was high, and the demand for unskilled workers decreased due to technological advancement. In addition, the number of unskilled workers increased rapidly due to immigration, and housing and administrative problems arose due to explosive urban growth. Innovation era in U.S. history lasted from 1890 until just before the outbreak of World War I. During this time, issues of capitalism and political corruption arose, leading to a movement for reform. Almost all famous figures were involved in the movement. The goals of the movement were the development of democracy, social justice, honest government implementation, efficient regulation of corporations, and the restoration of public welfare. Innovators generally believed that expanding the role of government could achieve progress and improve the welfare of the American people. From 1902 to 1908, many states improved laws to enhance the quality of life and work environment of citizens, such as raising the minimum age for child labor, limiting night work, and allowing for concurrent study. When World War I broke out in 1914, the U.S. adopted a strict neutral stance, but in 1917, Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare led the U.S. to declare war on Germany. In 1918, the war ended with a ceasefire agreement, and the Treaty of Versailles included the establishment of the League of Nations, but the U.S. Congress did not ratify the treaty, so the U.S. did not participate in the League of Nations. Most U.S. citizens were not very concerned about the ratification of the treaty, and the U.S. focused on domestic issues and withdrew from political changes in Europe. The 1920s saw many significant changes in various fields in the U.S., with reduced working hours and recognition of the importance of leisure time. Technology advanced significantly, and cars, radios, and movies became popular. However, due to the decline in profits and interest rates of corporations, large amounts of funds were invested, and reckless speculation occurred. On October 24, 1929, Black Thursday occurred, causing the stock market to collapse and banks to close. The U.S. economy suffered from severe economic depression throughout the 1930s. The 1920s were a golden age for large corporations, but there were also many problems during this period, such as prohibition, conflict, gangsters, and crime. There was also significant immigration during this period, with almost 19 million immigrants arriving in the U.S. in about 30 years. In 1921, the Congress even passed a bill to strictly regulate immigration. Many immigrants came from Italy, Russia, Poland, Greece, and the Balkans. Immigrants from countries outside of Europe, such as Japan, Canada, and Mexico, also began to migrate in significant numbers. Thanks for watching.